Hello, Mr. Martino here from your favorite teacher. And today we're going to continue looking at fractions and specifically adding and subtracting fractions. To add or subtract a fraction, we must always have like fractions. And this means the denominators must be the same for us to do that. Sometimes we'll have fractions that already have like denominators, but sometimes we have to force them to be the same. So let's take a look at some examples. So in these examples, the denominators are already the same. So we can add these fractions as they are. And when we add fractions, we add the numerators together as long as the denominator is the same, and we keep the denominator as it is. So in the first instance, 1 plus 1 is 2, and we keep 3 as it is. Similarly, we have 2 over 7, and then 4 plus 2 is 6 over 7. So as long as the denominators are the same, you just add the numerators. But sometimes the denominators are not the same. So let's take a look at this example. We need to use equivalent fractions to make the denominators the same. So in this instance, I have 1 over 5 plus 7 over 10. I need to make the 1 over 5 equivalent to something over 10 so that I can have both denominators the same. So in this case, it'll be 2 over 10. And I can say 2 over 10 plus 7 over 10. I have equivalent fractions now with 1/5 and 2/10. And I can now add the two fractions with the numerators to get 9 over 10. Another example, if I have 1/8 plus 1/2, I'm going to force the 1/2 to look like something over 8, so using equivalent fractions. So it's going to be 1/8 plus 4/8. Again, we have those two being equivalent fractions. I can now add the numerators, and the answer is 5 over 8. So here are a few for you to try. Should take you around 5 to 7 minutes. You can pause the video for this length of time until you're finished, and then we look at the answers. Okay, let's take a look at the answers now. So we should have 5/8 for the first one. We can change the second denominator to be 2 over 14, and we get 2 plus 3 is 5. And if we do the same thing with all the others, those are the answers that we'll get. If you haven't gotten one, try it again. So let's now take a look at the hardest type of fraction. So let's say we have 1/2 plus 1/3. In the previous ones, I was able to only change one of the fractions to equivalent of the next. However, in this instance, I have to use equivalence on both of those fractions. So the equivalent denominator for both of those fractions would actually be 6 in this case. So those are the equivalent fractions for 1/2 and 1/3. They both have the same denominator now, so I can now add the numerators. So the numerator is 5 if I add the 2, and the denominator is 6. So I have 5/6. Another example, 2/5 plus 3/7. I need to change both denominators with equivalent fractions so that I can get the same denominator. In this case, it would be 35 for both denominators because those are the equivalent fractions for both. And if I add 14 and 15, I get 29 over 35. So let's take a look at some general questions. And on the left, we have addition of fractions. On the right, we have subtraction of fractions. This should take you about 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. So go ahead and do these. You can pause the video until you're finished. Okay, let's now take a look at the answers. We're going to look at the answers for the addition ones first. So that's the answers for the additions. You can check your answers against it. And now we're going to take a look at the subtraction answers. So once again, check your answers against these and see what you've got. Hope this was helpful. This is Mr. Martino for your favorite teacher.